In general, if I open the fridge and see something that looks decent and doesn't have anything growing on it, I'm likely to eat it. Yesterday's supper, a butter dish with salad from the funeral dinner, something wrapped in foil that a family sent home with me after eating at their house. Oh, it may not be as fresh as day one, but if it was good the first time, then I'm willing to try it again. But leftovers aren't always a good thing. You know, in college, my roommates and I took turns cooking. Good or bad, each one of us had one night a week. Now, leftovers were rarely an issue, because there were two possibilities. Either the meal was so good that it was gone immediately, or else it was so bad that, forget leftovers, even eating it the first time was questionable. Well, likewise, when a person is discerning the will of God, there can be something distasteful about treating God as a fallback plan. And it's most unappetizing when it comes to priestly and religious vocations. I don't want, and more importantly, the church doesn't need men who discern a call to the priesthood because they can't do anything else. The priesthood, more than ever, needs men who are drawn to it, not because it's all that's left, but because it's all that's right. Now, I will concede the possibility that the reason a person is floundering between majors or between jobs is precisely because he's not where God wants him to be. You know, he's trying out different things because he hasn't yet realized or hasn't yet accepted that perhaps God is calling him to the seminary. But there's a fine line between that person and the man who sees frustration and failure as an indication that God wants him to think about the priesthood. Now, just because a man who is called to the priesthood can only find complete happiness in the priesthood doesn't mean that he would be unhappy in every other setting. In fact, a man might be generally happy and good at what he's studying, or where he's working, or who he's dating, yet still recognize that he's unfulfilled or called to something more. You know, in Luke chapter 14, verse 33, Jesus tells us, "In the same way, every one of you who does not renounce all his possessions cannot be my disciple." Now, I'm not saying that every candidate for the seminary needs to be homecoming king, or score a 30 on his ACT, or have a $50,000 per year job. But I am convinced that if a man is not walking away from something, a scholarship, a job, a relationship, then he cannot truly and fully be walking toward his call with conviction and a real sense of discipleship. You know, we assume that the apostles, most of them at least, were good at what they did before Jesus called them, and happy. You know, I can't help but think that at any point they could have gone back to their former way of life, for more money and less worries. But they didn't choose to follow Jesus as a last resort. What they were giving up was small compared to what and who that they were gaining.